Welcome everyone to the series about ERM in import-export. In today's video, it'll guide you on how you can create contact lists, how to distinguish between different types of contact lists, and how you can apply these contact lists to your export work. Let's get started and watch together. First, we need to understand what types of contact lists there are. There are two basic types, everyone. The first is the startup static list. This is when you import channels or lists from a fixed file. For example, if you have a list of potential customers in an Excel file and you import it into your system, it will create a startup list, which means a fixed, unchanging list that does not update automatically. The second type, on the other hand, is what we call the active list. That means these are lists you create with certain conditions, and later the system will automatically update members. In a moment, it'll give you an example. So between these two types of lists, we'll mainly focus on the active list, that is, these automated lists. And it'll explain in a bit why we're focusing on the active list, so you'll understand the reason behind it. So the main purpose of creating these lists is, first of all, to help you when you already have certain lists in place. These lists will serve your email marketing efforts when you want to send emails to a specific group of customers to target audience. When this target group meets certain conditions, for example, they're interested in your products, they haven't unsubscribed from your emails, or they contacted you to ask for prices, group them into a specific list. For lists where customers already made a purchase, group them into a separate list. Why do this? When sending mass emails, tailor content to each group. Select this keyword to include all customers you want. Secondly, it helps you quickly track how many leads are in each list. You can also quickly see how many potential customers, how many contacts, and how many customers you have. It's very easy to track. And finally, you can easily export these lists into Excel files or CSV files very quickly. This way, if you want to store them for later or send them to other departments within your company, you can export the file and send it right away. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to focus our efforts heavily on the lead list. Whenever we create any pipeline, these pipelines will be based on the conditions that you set in the rules, which will automatically assign leads to the appropriate pipelines. For example, if you've already contacted a customer and opened a deal, when you click Read, it will automatically move that customer into the list called Potential List, which is the list of potential customers. Currently, we have 4 main groups of customers that you need to create when you use the CRM for export. The first group is the active leads. These are the leads that are considered alive. These are the leads you will try to move from the top of the funnel all the way down to become your customers. You will contact these leads most frequently, using them for sending initial emails and top-of-funnel communications. You can also filter these leads by certain fields. For example, use fields like source, stage, or lead status to sort them into active leads. The second group is potential leads. Potential leads are those leads who are considered promising, such as customers who have already responded to you, or leads who have requested a quote. You should group these into the potential leads category, so later you can focus your efforts on these. Potential leads are those leads that are most likely to place an order, and you need to monitor this closely. At this point, on LiveScribe, you can filter by the productive itai field, or in the list status, you can filter by button or open view to get this list. The unengagement list includes email lists that couldn't be delivered, or lists where people have no interest or are unqualified, that is, they don't fit your customer profile. So you can filter by hotbound email, unsupplied, unqualified, or bad timing. This unengagement list is very important in email marketing, everyone. Why? Because when you run an email marketing campaign, for example, you send to a list of 1,000 customers, 1,000 contacts, and among them, there will be a certain percentage of customers who first click unsubscribe and second, emails that fail to be delivered. This will lead to your entire campaign being blocked, and HubSpot does not encourage this at all. In fact, even the emails you send, then your emails will end up going straight to the spam folder later on. That's why you need to segment this unengagement list to filter out the contacts who don't meet your requirements, or those who don't want to be contacted, or who aren't interested in your product. You shouldn't send emails to them in the next campaign. And finally, there's the customer list where you'll add all the customers who have placed orders. This list is automated whenever a customer makes a purchase, meaning when you move them to the purchase stage, they will automatically be added to this list. Next, it'll guide you through a live demo. They'll show you how to create these 4 lists. Please open HubSpot. Then right at the CRM section, everyone. Please scroll down to the list section for me. Let me give you a quick explanation on how to import a list efficiently. If you're using a CSV file and aren't familiar with the process, click the import icon here first. Click the import icon, then the import button here. Just upload your CSV file and it will import here. This will create a list for you, and at this stage it will generate something called a status list. Is a fixed list. And in today's video, we won't be focusing on this fixed list. Instead, I want to guide you through the active list. Pick a list here. I've already created some active lists. If you want to view them, to check where a list you created is located, whether it's in status or active, just click on this tab here. Here, it'll click so you can see these 4 lists. These are my active lists. Do you see them? For example, let's go back to our requirements. Here, the first of the 4 groups we need is the active list. These are the lists we use for email marketing. The second is the bot end list, which is for potential leads. The third is the unengagement list. And finally, there's the customer list. So to create a contact list, you need to click on Create List here, right here. Then click on Contact and then select Next. You'll see fields below. You need to edit the name of this list. It'll change it to active. I created active before, but now it'll create it again. Active demo. Next, we add a filter there to filter the property lists that we select. First, let's choose the category section. So please help me select property here. Then select live. Live cycle state right here. Then click to select is any of for any value that it contains. In this list, active, it should not be in customer. Okay? All right, with these 2 fields, that's good. Then you will put everything into this active list so that later you can do email marketing. Then you can click review and save. Here. For the process description, you can click on the description section here and then click save here. There's also a section called exclusion, which means if you don't want a certain lead to be included in your active list, you just need to select it here. For example, here it'll choose any list. Or I can select any lead. Then you just click save. For the unprocessed list, it will display my own active list demo. Because this CM system also has a waiting period, when you click, it takes some time to process the request. So please wait a moment for the correct list to appear. Here is an active list that I have created. Similarly, you can also create lists according to your own needs. For example, I have already created a Botan list in advance. I've already created a demo for you, so if you want to create something similar, just follow the same steps I showed earlier. And when you want to edit a list, simply click on Edit List here or Edit Filter here. As for the Botan list, you will select the live cycle. It's like the active list, and you guys add another status list here, that is here. The list status you need to add is, the list status must be either prospecting or open view for it to be included in this prospecting list. For example, to add it, you just add a filter here, select properties, and then choose. List status, for example, just like mine here, then you simply select prospecting and open view and save it. That way it will display the list of those. any list that belongs to the potential list, and later on, any challenge you assign that meets these conditions will automatically be added here. I will add one more thing, which is the unengagement list. I have it here. Here you will filter because I've already created it, so it'll just show you how I set up the filter. Here you'll filter by email outbound reason, which means any emails sent to customers that get bounced back. And for these reasons, for example, any reason listed as other, or reasons like policy, or spam will include all of those here. That's one. The second Onio, this one has an error. These two I already deleted earlier, so for the status, it'll just remove it. Let's delete this one as well. Done. The second case is for any list where someone has unsubscribed. In other words, they no longer want to receive information from us. In that case, they'll set this to true and click save. That way, you'll have a payment term list right here. Now here, you might want to add another one. You can edit the filter. You'll see that if you select, or you're just adding another condition, so in addition to these two conditions, you can add more. But if you select, and then besides the condition above, it also has to meet the condition below. That's the end rule. If you want to add other conditions besides these, you should choose or. So for the category, you should select contact first, okay? And then select list status. Here, this is the list status. You can choose which lists you want. The TET list is under unqualified, so I won't include it in the unengagement list either. Alright, let's save it. There you go. Now you'll have a comprehensive list of contacts that you want continue to contact. Later, when sending email marketing or future content, we want send it to these customers. To create your own customer list, for example, select Create a List. Let me show you. Select Contact, click Next. Add a filter here. It'll choose Customer Properties. After that, I select Lifecycle State here, and I just choose Customer. That's it, everyone. This part is really simple. Just select Customer, and then click Review and Save. Here, then Save and Process List. It will then display your customer list. You can rename this list to Customer List. For privacy reasons, they'll blur out any unnecessary information before showing it to you all. Okay, so now we have our customer list, and by doing this, when you go to the list section, you can quickly see how many people are in your potential list, how many are in your active list, and your current totals. With the customer list here, you can view it very quickly, everyone. And if you want to export this customer list, here's what you do. Just click on this button. After that, select Export List here, and it will automatically export the file. You can check off whichever columns you need. Then it will display the content inside. Currently, this information is already quite good. Now, for example, in here, there will be information about at first conversion. This is the first conversion. You can select it to show it in your file if you want. For example, if you need to add the close day, just select it and then click Next. It will export to an Excel file for you. This file format can be either CSV or Excel, but I usually choose the XLSX format, which is the Excel file format. After that, you export it and you'll have an Excel file like this. You can click Check Export and then Customize List here, so you can download this list and open it to review. So it's just an Excel sheet and it will have all the information you need. It'll open it for you. Contains all the details. Like in the CM system, you can add anything you need. Alright, that wraps up my sharing on this method. This is a way for you to create task lists, especially active lists, to serve your export needs. I sincerely hope the insights shared in this video will be helpful and that you can start practicing and applying them today so you can truly make the most out of this tool.